Hi class, thanks for joining me again. So let's see, we just read the book Sand Dwellers, and I realized in our class in the science area that we have a bunch of specimen. You know what specimen are? They're little examples of real life creatures. We have a bunch of specimen that live in sand. So I thought that it would be really cool to take a look at them together. So if you remember, let's see. Can you remember any of the animals that lived in the sand in the desert? Let's look at desert animals first. So first one that I'm going to show you is a scorpion. Okay, let's take a look at this scorpion. We have a live specimen of a scorpion in our classroom. So when you come back to class, you can take a moment to look at our scorpion. What color is this scorpion? It's black. So if you remember, scorpions, they burrow, they dig a hole, and they hide, and they camouflage. So I bet this black scorpion would really like to hide in dark sand. Dark, it's like a black-brown. I bet it would find sand that's really dark to hide in. Maybe hide under some dark rocks too, because there's a lot of rocks in the desert too. We also have a tarantula. Look at that. Can you see anything similar between the tarantula and the scorpion? What do you see? We know they're similar because they both live in the desert, because we're studying sand, so we know that they live in the sand and they live in the desert. But what do we know about them? We know that the scorpion burrows, but did you know so does the tarantula? We also know that the scorpion camouflages, but did you know so does the tarantula? We know that the scorpion is a predator. A predator means that the scorpion eats other little critters. So does the tarantula. But what else do you see that's the same? Let's see. So the scorpion has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 legs and 2 claws. The spider has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 legs, and these are like claws. They're not actually legs on a tarantula. Look at that. 8 and 8. These are very similar. Let's see what else I have that lives in the desert sand. I have a beetle. Look at that. Isn't that cool looking? Let's look at it from behind. Ooh, and it has this big pincer. Isn't that neat? When you come to class, we're going to check on it together. Check on it. And then we also have this giant fly. Eee, that thing is so big. Look at it. It's almost as big as my finger. These are also from the desert. So let's take a moment and look at these 2 desert creatures. What can we find that is similar about these 2 desert creatures? They're both insects. They're similar that we know they live in the desert. Let's see. They both have how many legs? Do you think it's going to be the same just like the tarantula and the scorpion? It is. It's the same. Let's count the legs. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 legs on this critter right here, this little beetle. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on this insect here. Those are similar, and look, they're very similar in size also. same with the tarantula and the scorpion. Now here's something really icky but cool. These animals will eat these animals because they live in the same habitat, and these are predators. Isn't that interesting? Okay, let's move on over to the sea because our book was about sand dwellers from desert to sea. So we saw 4 critters from the desert. Let's look at some critters from the sea. So do you remember any of them from the book? There's a clue right there on the front page. There's a hermit crab. They live in the sea and they were nocturnal, remember? What else was there? There's a ghost crab. They live in the sea, in the sand. So I found in our specimen box a crab. Do you see that crab? He lives in the sand too. Isn't he neat looking? He also has 8 legs and 2 claws, just like the scorpion. You know what else they have that's similar? An exoskeleton. Their skeleton's on the outside. That hard shell is their exoskeleton. Okay, we have a shell. Does anybody remember what critter crawls into another shell? I'll give you a hint. It's on the front page of Sand Dwellers. Do you remember from the book? The hermit crab has a soft body and it climbs into a shell, and that's where it lives to protect itself. Does anybody remember what the hermit crab ate? So it climbs into the shell, and what does the hermit crab eat? They are omnivores. They eat both animals and plants. So I brought some examples of what the hermit crab eats. Small fish and small shrimp. Did you know some shrimp live in the sand also? And so do some fish. Now these ones don't, but some do. Remember in the book there was the was it a halibut where or a flounder where it has its 2 eyes on one side and it digs into the sand? Look at that. That is a cool looking shrimp. I'm excited when I see you guys come back. I want to read the book again and look at these creatures together again. And if you can remember any of the information, I'm going to ask you to help me teach the rest of class. What's the same? What's different? Which one is food for the predators and which one is a predator? All right, class, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you found all these little creatures so interesting, because I sure did. I had a lot of fun looking at them with you. Have a good one. See you tomorrow.